welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to make these colorful fringe earrings, and you can use any size of beads that you would like. For us, we are going to use size 10 seed beads. So what you will need a beading needle, a pair of scissors, a nylon thread, pliers, and earring hooks. So we're going to use the yellow and green beads to demonstrate, but you can use any color. So you'll need green beads, yellow beads, black beads, and white beads. So now let's begin by picking 4 white beads. Then you pull them towards the end of the thread, but you leave a tail of about 4 inches. Then you pass the needle through the last 2 beads, the first 2 beads, and back through the last 2 beads. Then back through the first 2 beads. So do as follow what I'm doing, yes, in the video, then back through the last 2 beads. Yes. So next you will pick 2 white beads. Then you will pass the needle through the last 2 beads. And back through the 2 beads that you just picked. Pick 2 white beads, and you will pass the needle through the last 2 beads and back through the 2 beads that you just picked. So you will repeat doing the same for this row. It's called a ladder stitch. So do this until you get to the end of the row. So we are done with our row, with our first row. And please make sure that you use 11 beads. So 11 beads. So for the second row, you'll start by picking 4 beads. 4 beads. Then you will pass the needle through the second loop of stitch. Skip the first loop and you pass the needle through the second loop of stitch and back through the last 2 beads. And through the first 2 beads and back through the last 2 beads. Now pick 2 white beads and you will pass the needle through the next loop of stitch and back through the 2 beads that you just picked. Pick 2 white beads, pass the needle through the loop of stitch and back through the 2 beads that you just picked. So you will repeat doing this. We call this a brick stitch. So do this until you get to the end of the row. We are done with our second row. Turn your work and repeat what you did with the second row by picking 4 beads. Then you will pass the needle through the second loop of stitch and back through the last 2 beads. Through the first 2 beads again and back through the last 2 beads. So this is how you will do. This is how you will start all your rows. Next, you will pick 2 beads. Then you will pass the needle through the next loop of stitch and back through the 2 beads that you just picked. So for this row, for this row to the very last row, you will repeat the same process. You will repeat the brick stitch by picking 2 beads and passing the needle through the next loop of stitch. So repeat it until you get to the very last row. So our last row, you'll just pick 4 white beads and you will pass the needle through the loop of stitch, back through the last 2 beads and back through the first 2 beads, finally back through the last 2 beads. Now you will pass the needle through the triangle. I call it a triangle. So pass the needle through from the top of the triangle to the base. So this is where we will start working on our fringe. Make sure that you cut the tail that you left when we first started working. So we are done with our top part. Now time for the fringe. So we are done working on the last fringe. You'll pass the needle through all the beads as you've done on all the other on the rest of the fringes. So you'll pass the needle through the beads on the last fringe, and you make your way with the needle through the top part. Make your way with the needle through the top part. Yeah, and finally you'll make a knot and you'll cut the thread, and we are done. Always remember that you are free to use any color of beads that you would like. Also, you can use any size, but remember that the size of the beads will determine the size of the earrings. For instance, if you will use size 9 seed beads, your earrings will be much larger than our earrings in the video. If you decide to use size 11 seed beads, your earrings will be much smaller than the earrings on the video. So the higher the number of, the higher the size, the number size of the beads, the smaller the beads. The lower the number, the larger the beads. So size 9 is a large beads, size 10 is much smaller than size 9, and size 11 is much smaller than size 10. So now the last part, you will just insert the earring hook. Insert the earring hook and you will use the pliers as shown in the video. Insert the earring hooks and we are done with our earrings. So this is the final look. Thank you so much for watching. I enjoyed making this and I hope that you will too. Thank you so much. Please don't forget to subscribe.